The most popular life formula for modern people is work hard plus play hard. Grind like hell during the day, party like hell at night, double burnout, endless cycle. Laozi took one look and only said, "You're all using brute force. I'm using the way." He straight up dropped a way of living that operates on a completely different plane and never trying something hard. Why are you exhausted while Laozi isn't? Because you're trying way too hard. Work hard equals competing against others, against yourself, against time. Play hard equals switching to another arena to keep competing. Competing for thrills, experiences, peak fun. The essence is the same. You never stop. Your adrenaline never comes down. Laozi saw right through it. Real mastery is never about trying harder, but about borrowing momentum, flowing with the current, and resetting to zero. In Chinese, we call him Wu Wei. Real translation that actually makes sense is effortless doing, or action through non-forcing, or the most savage modern version is winning by refusing to try hard. Laozi wants us to return to the state of the infant. Good virtue returns to the infant. An infant knows nothing, yet is naturally closest to the Tao. He has no idea what success studies are, what involution is, what delayed gratification is, but he instinctively knows. Hungry? Eat. Sleepy? Sleep. Uncomfortable? Cry. Happy? Laugh. This is what Laozi calls the very gate of the universe. Reboot to factory settings. Take your trash computer, crashed by corporate OS, KPI malware, desire plugins, and anxiety patches, and wipe it clean. Restore it to the original infant firmware. Once the reset is complete, you suddenly realize life never needed all those personas, all those goals, all those justifications. All it ever needed was to be like an infant. Eat when hungry, sleep when tired, cry when it hurts, laugh when it feels good. That's it. That's the whole game. Laozi says Wu Wei actually has 5 layers of meaning. Layer 1, Wu Wei is precisely acting without being driven by any special purpose. Yes, that one sentence captures the very lifeblood of Wu Wei. The character Wei here means for the sake of or in order to. Wu Wei equals doing without any in order to. What Laozi fears most is not doing nothing, but forcing action while loaded with selfish desires, profit motives, or obsessive attachments. The moment these things get mixed in, every movement becomes distorted. For fame, who's showboating, rushing for quick success? For profit, who's short-sightedness, harming others to benefit oneself? For obsession, who getting stuck in dead ends, going against nature? These 3 kinds of forcing are, in Taoist eyes, the root cause of all chaos under heaven. Therefore, the true lethal power of Wu Wei lies here. It quietly pulls out, root and all, those barbed motives like, I must have this, and what if I don't get it? Once the barbs are removed, you relax. Once you relax, your actions become smooth and rounded. Once your actions are rounded, you're perfectly tuned to the frequency of the Tao. Once you're on that frequency, everything you do yields twice the result with half the effort, or things resolve themselves without you even acting. And if you simply be yourself, live naturally, and follow what you truly love, you'll suddenly find that all those things you could never grasp before come looking for you on their own. Because they were never the main product, they're just byproducts of the process of being authentically you. Treating byproducts as the ultimate goal is the classic case of heading south while driving the chariot north. That's why Laozi advocates obtain without seeking, accomplish without forcing. A natural, spontaneous, wholehearted devotion that wells up from the depths of your being. Layer 2. Acting on the nothing. Flavian, the eldest brother of the legendary physician beyond check, was the real goat at medicine. He specialized in treating the illness before it arises. By the time ordinary doctors noticed symptoms, he had already cured the patient, so nobody even knew he had done anything. Was he doing nothing? Hell no! He just acted so early, when the problem was still nothing, when not even the tiniest sign had arisen. This is Wu Wei, acting on the nothing, striking before the first sprout breaks the soil. Laozi said, "Deal with the difficult while it is still easy. Accomplish the great while it is still small. Every hard thing in the world starts out easy. Every huge mess starts out tiny." The sage never waits for the tiny thing to balloon into a monster before moving. That's why he ends up achieving the greatest results without ever looking like he did much. The true master of war has no glorious military exploits to his name because he never lets the war actually happen. He wins it at the chessboard, in diplomacy, in deterrence, long before the first arrow flies. Victory before the battle even starts, bending the enemy soldiers without ever fighting. This is what Laozi calls winning without contending. That's why the ultimate Wu Wei practitioner is famous for having no fame, celebrated for having no achievements. He does so much by doing it on the nothing. So when the history books are written, there's nothing flashy to record. And that's exactly how he becomes immortal.
Layer 3. Going with the momentum. A human being is just a tiny speck in the universe. The external environment, including the entire cosmos we live in, is never still. It is always moving and changing on its own. That movement, that change, is what we call Shi, the unstoppable momentum, the current of things. Your personal strength is limited. The reach of your preaching and teaching is limited. Therefore, the only way to achieve anything truly big is to borrow the inherent power that already exists in everything. Borrow the innate wisdom and longing of the people. Borrow the natural growth trajectory that things already have. That's why Laozi says, "The sage has no fixed heart of his own. He takes the hearts of the people as his heart. He observes what people feel, senses what they truly want and need. He figures out where the people's hearts are already heading, then gently nudges them along that very direction. In the end, everything gets done perfectly, and the people all say, 'We just naturally did it ourselves.' They never even realized someone was steering the whole thing. To them, it felt completely natural, like it was always meant to happen this way. They have no idea an invisible hand just gave the tiniest push at exactly the right moment." That is Wu Wei. You achieve the maximum result with the minimum trace. The people feel 100% ownership, yet the sage is the one who made it possible without ever looking like he did anything at all. Layer 4. Governing by Wu Wei. Wu Wei is not only a personal way of living, it is also the ultimate goal of governing a state. What does the ideal society look like according to Zhangzi? The common people go about their daily lives without fixed purposes. They come and go without set directions. Mouths full of food, they play. Bellies full, they wander and drum on them like drums. People are relaxed and carefree, with nothing particular to chase, nothing urgent to do after dinner. That's the Wu Wei society. The world is so peaceful that there's literally nothing to manage. That's why Laozi says, "Act with Wu Wei, handle affairs with no affairs, taste the tasteless." Govern by staying desire-free and non-interfering. That is true governing. Let the country run itself so you have nothing to do. That is true handling of affairs. Keep the nation so calm and plain that life feels tasteless. That is true flavor. Only then can you take the world by doing nothing, because I do nothing, Wu Wei, the people transform themselves. I love stillness, the people correct themselves. I have no affairs, the people grow rich on their own. I have no desires, the people remain simple and pure. The highest form of ruling is to make ruling obsolete. The greatest leader is the one who, at the end, has the people say, "We've always been this happy. No one did anything to us."
Layer 5. Not doing it with your own hands. No human being is omnipotent. Everyone has limits. If you insist on doing everything yourself, you'll always be capped by your own ceiling. But if you refrain from jumping in personally, if you refuse to micromanage, you break free from those limits and truly achieve doing nothing, yet nothing is left undone. How? By borrowing the power of people and the power of heaven. If you do everything yourself, you're bottlenecked by your own ability. You suffocate everyone else's growth. What's left for them to do? Nothing. Your subordinates never get trained, never level up, and the day you drop dead, the whole system collapses. Classic example, Kong Min. The man personally handled every single detail, strategies, logistics, even tying shoelaces for the army. Result? He worked himself to death at 54. And after he was gone, Shu Han didn't have a single competent successor. The kingdom fell apart in one generation. A single person's bandwidth is tiny. Even a sage can only master 1 or 2 domains. But if you know how to use other people's strength, there is literally nothing you can't accomplish. Put the right people in the right seats, let each person's unique talent shine. What can't be done? This is the deepest meaning of Wu Wei while nothing is left undone. The master never touches the keyboard himself, yet the entire project ships on time perfectly. He just sits there sipping tea, and the universe, plus a well-built team, does all the heavy lifting. That's the final boss level of Wu Wei. Never lift a finger, yet move the world. Wu Wei in one brutal line. Stop trying so hard, and the universe starts working for you.